Yeah, thank you.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidyushavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Asato ma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sarvesham Swastirbhavatu Sarvesham Shantirbhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
So please pray to your parents for a minute. If they are nearby, get their blessings and come. I will wait for a minute. Thank you. Sanjay, I need help from you.
Yes, sir.
The first chapter of the book.
Yes,
Do
sir.
you have a soft copy of that?
Yes, sir, I do have.
Yeah, can you display it? Because you had it
Sure.
somewhere. Suddenly it got deleted.
Yeah, I'll display
So
it, sir.
just, okay.
Yes. Just a second, sir. I'll open.
Yeah. I just want to highlight whatever doubts you have, weight estimation, etc. That's all.
Yes. Shall I share my screen, sir?
Yeah, please do. Yeah. Go to the second chapter,
Chapter. Okay.
weight estimation. This you can go through. First chapter, I think, to yourself. Everything can go to yourself, but just in case. And some people like to hear something. Oh, yeah. For beginning of the section,
Yes, yes.
we have come from the same.
Yes.
Yeah. So just scroll down, keep scrolling down. Yeah, just go to the top. Go to the earlier page. So in here, you see 2.1, 2.2, what he has given earlier,
Yes.
just before above the photograph. Now, fuel fraction estimates is the main thing. Then total takeoff weight estimation. The spreadsheet, there will be a spreadsheet given there. Don't use a spreadsheet. It will give you some wrong results, or you won't learn anything from there if you use a spreadsheet. Okay, you are free to make your own spreadsheet. That's okay, or design your own, make your own MATLAB, or do it longhand. Whatever you like, you do it. But don't take this spreadsheet. It doesn't work for all the problems I gave you. Some of it may give wrong results. Okay, just because there's a spreadsheet, don't start using it. Okay, this whole is good for all the exercises. Later, finally, when you ask where I use a spreadsheet, means I can't do anything about it later. Okay, yes, come down, because some of these problems are very unique in their nature. Spreadsheet might not take into account some of these you know peculiarities. It's a very general thing. Yeah. Just go and next page, please. Yeah, we have seen all this. Just, this figure gives this, typical ratio of all this weight build-up. Come down. Next page. Next page. So yeah, we have covered all this. Come down. I want to show some things which may not have covered. Fuel fraction estimates. Come down. Yeah, he has taken typical. Go to the typical two types of mission profile he is taking. Next one. The first takeoff segment. Yeah, you've seen all this. Startup and takeoff. We'll start from here. Startup and takeoff. Generally, the ratio of this final to initial weight of furthest phases between 97% and 97.5%. Okay. You assume whatever is up, you feel like it's okay. Second one, climb and accelerator cruise. Come down. Use this graph. So for this, if you determine your cruise Mach number, determine your cruise Mach number. Some of you have it very low, probably, so you get this fraction as 0.995 or something like that. For some of you, it may be 0.95, 0.9. For supersonic people, be as bad as 0.85, 0.8, depending on the Mach number. Whether you are going to cruise at that Mach number, that's what you should see. Next. Yeah. So these, I already told you, you can use these two equations for the range of piston props. Now, he has given something as unit and everything. Now, these equations will work if you use the appropriate units for SI units also. Okay. I suggest you use SI units. Finally, when you present, you have to present things in SI units only. You are free to choose British units, but make sure you don't make mistakes there. British units are prone to make more mistakes than SI units. In my experience, I've seen. Although if you are, you should know how to use them, but preferably when you present in SI unit, it's very clear if you do that. Because when you say pounds, there's always a confusion. Whether you mean pound force or pound weight, pound mass. Pound mass or pound force. These two are different things, and there is always a confusion inherent in that. Some books are very explicit. They say LBF, means pound force. But when you go to company websites, they use pound, just pound, but they mean pound force. I've seen this happen in many websites. You have to, figure out what are they meaning from just from the uh, numbers they are giving. You have to figure out whether they are meaning pound force or pound weight. What have they used in a certain formula? It's a big headache. So anyway, you will encounter that headache. At least don't pass it on to others when you be presenting the SI units. Yes. Yeah. Now you need L by D. Reasonable estimate for L by D you can get from this. So 0.94 of L by D max, because when you cruise, usually what is this? Go up, cruise, right? Go up, move further. I want to see the title of this subsection. Combat and return cruise. No,
To see the title
no,
for the L by D.
no.
I think it got skipped.
Skipped a lot. No, before this, I want to see the title. Before, cruise out to destination. Cruise. So during cruise, L by D you are taking as 0.94 of L by D max. Now, what you take for L by D max? Well, that is at this stage you don't know your airfoil. You haven't calculated L by D max, so you have to make use of empirical data. Come down. Figure 2.4. Over there. From Nikolai 1975. Nikolai is also a good book for design. So for subsonic Mach numbers, you have different values of LBDs depending on aspect ratio, LBD max ratio. Okay, these are just empirical data. Please take this. For supersonic cruise Mach number, there is only one curve. Okay. Yes, this is irrespective of aspect ratio. Move back to the earlier state. Yes, this is good enough. And any additional, so one more thing you can go through all these theory. Winglets can actually increase your L by 15-20%. If you look at your comparison aircraft, if they have winglets and you are proposing to use winglets in your design, then you can actually multiply by this 1.15 to 1.2. Add 20% of LBD to your LBD max, and then go to the LBD actual cruise LBD calculation. That's also so. LBD max is 1 by 2 root CD not K. Come down, but you don't have to use it if you use this methodology, because you should know CD naught and K now. K is again aspect ratio. You can find out K. CD naught, you have to look around for what is the CD naught. So I suggest to use this graph. Okay, come down. So CD naught for a variety of aircraft, 0.01 to 0.02. So now you can also use the table here instead of the graph. For various different types of aircraft, LBD max range is given here, and average LBD max is given here. If your aircraft can be fit into one of these, you can use this table. Because to use the earlier one, you should know the aspect ratio of your aircraft, which you don't know at this point of time. Then you have to get that aspect ratio from comparison aircrafts, take some, average aspect ratio, and then use the table. That is one way, or you can take it from this table 2.1. Whichever way you follow, you have to mention what you followed in your presentation report. Come down. The value of TSFC C is given here between 0.5 to 1.2. Okay. So if you have high bypass ratio, if you have a turbofan engine, for example, high bypass ratio will have low TSFC. Low bypass ratio will have high bypass, this one 1.2. If it is in between, it will be between 0.8 and 0.9, where the number is per hour. Okay. The unit is per hour. Okay. Now, for propeller, the equations you need the the this for turbojet. For propeller, you have to determine appropriately some comparison aircraft or some other data you have to get it. Even for propeller, you can get some data. Okay. It may not be given here. So the value, okay, eta you need. So as a rough estimate, eta is actually 0.8 is a very nominal value. So empirical data for probability and after indicate that ratio eta by C is nearly constant. So to maximize the range, you want an operating point where eta and L by D are maximums. Now look at table 2.2 for propeller aircraft. Just come down, there is one more table 2.2. Find that. This will give eta and C for various types of aircraft. If for your aircraft doesn't exactly fit in, you can take anything which is closest to your aircraft. You can take from this table. Go up, move up, go back, Sanjay. Next comes accelerate to high speed. This probably, for interceptors it may be important. So we can again use 2.3. Go to 2.3. Go to figure 2.3. Figure 2.3, not table. Go back. No, earlier. It was earlier. Further. You saw this 2.4. Go to 2.3. Here. So here, what you do is, suppose your cruise Mach number is 0.8, and you have to accelerate to Mach number 2. Okay, for cruise Mach number, you find the weight ratio from here, this graph. Then for 2 also you find the weight ratio. Then go back to the place where we started. So he is getting, okay, for 0.1 he is getting the WF by W. Okay. Now he is just dividing one weight fraction from the other. That is, you are not starting from rest to go to Mach number 2, for example, for interceptors. Your cruise is 0.1 Mach number. From that Mach number, if you are moving to Mach number 2, then this is given here. Okay. So you have to take the ratios. This will be one phase you may have to add. For acceleration, this acceleration may happen during interceptor, when intercepts, or for fighter aircraft when we are dashing. They may drop the bomb at a Mach number of say point one or something. They may dash back to a speed of 2. Then you use this graph. Then after 2 is a cruise again. So that accelerate you should include whenever there is a change in cruise Mach. Then combat. But unfortunately, when you decelerate, you don't get the gain the fuel back. Okay, so don't use that. Yes. So then combat. For combat, a very simple formula is given here. You fix the time of combat. So the weight loss during combat is given by the C max. C max is maximum TSFC. Usually, when you do combat, you turn your afterburner on. So TSFC increases when you switch the afterburner on. What will happen? TSFC itself doubles. It is around 1.5 times to 2 times the normal TSFC. So that is the C max you should use here. Then the thrust also will be increased. Thrust also may be doubled. So T max is the increased thrust here. And then the time of combat. If you are using that C in per hour, okay, then the time also should be in hours. With the C you are using units of seconds, time also should be in seconds. Then you'll get the weight in correct units. Okay. Now, combat phase, you should also include the loss of expendable payload, such an ordnance. So no weight. The problem is combat is there is no fixed the ratio fuel fraction is not determined. Actual fuel weight lost is determined plus any other weight which is dropped. So the change in weight should be accounted for before entering the next flight phase. Like this was I told this earlier also. Then return cruise, for example, in combat after dropping you may have to come back. So the return cruise because of loss of weight, it's a different. The aircraft is lighter, it may consume less fuel. Then the aircraft may go to a higher altitude. Yes, next one. So even if you have the same cruise Mach number, because of the height and change in temperature, density, etc., the cruise velocity may be different for when you go forward and back return. Okay. Otherwise, you want to counter this altitude increase, you have to decrease L by D. Okay. So that it is not efficient, but you won't gain height. So both was the impact the fuel fraction for cruise, whichever way you follow. The effectively more significant for long range aircraft, like your strategic bombers. Maybe the total fuel weight is a large portion of the takeoff weight. Yes. Then loiter, you have the endurance formula again. Just like range, you use this. Make sure endurance and C are in compatible units. L by D is a ratio. WA by WF is also a ratio. So if E and C are compatible units, then you'll get the correct answer. Otherwise, you may end up getting very funny weight fractions. That's what you should watch out for. So endurance L by DC. We assume that C is constant. Okay. Usually C may not be constant, we know, but we assume C is constant and say corresponds to LVD max condition for maximum endurance. Okay. So this means the power should be minimum from this expression you can see. You will learn the same thing in flight mechanics also. Next one. Okay, you can go through the endurance yourself. Then landing also, it is empirical. The fuel fraction can be taken as between 97% and 97.5%. Well, now one more graph is given here for the structure coefficient S. S is WMT by W takeoff. Just come down. You see this. So you have so much scatter in data. So what all these have been approximated by straight line here. You can either use this or you can use the graph given for by Chendil sir in his PowerPoint earlier. So this is one way. For every iteration, you have to consult this graph. If takeoff weight keeps changing, the fraction also keeps changing. Come down. Or you can use this S is equal to AW takeoff power C. Okay. Now here in this, if you use this S, then your A and C are fixed. So if takeoff weight changes, okay, it will affect S only through this formula. Okay. So you can, it is easy to program if you use this and fix it for your. So if you use the other one, you can still program, but you may have to extract some values and do it. I leave it to you how you manage it. There are several ways of doing it. Yes. So finally, come down. This one. We have already seen this. Final takeoff weight is now calculate empty weight after subtracting the fuel weight and payload from your earlier estimates. As I told you earlier, this empty weight to takeoff weight will have some ratio. And what you calculate from this formula, S is equal to AW takeoff power C, will have some other value. Now replace the earlier calculated empty weight by this S. Empty weight calculated from this S. So with this S and the earlier takeoff weight, you can calculate the refined empty takeoff weight. Okay, and but add the same amount of fuel now and calculate maximum takeoff weight. So what you are changing in every iteration beginning is the empty weight. Is it clear now? That's all. Nothing else to tell you. There is an example given here. You can follow through the example. You just follow the same example throughout the book. So this is SSB, a supersonic business jet. But just take it. If you don't understand something, you can use it as a example where he has given you an example. You can follow. If you are following some other methodology, please mention it clearly and then in your presentation you clarify what methodology you are following. So that's it. Now we'll close for today after one small ritual. The ritual is, the ritual already. Rajshri. Rajshri,
Yes, sir.
it's your turn to share something with the class. Yeah. Anything.
Sir, I usually read a lot of classic books at home when I'm free.
Again, I don't hear you. Can you repeat?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
So when I have free time, I generally try to read classic books. It's a habit I'm trying to develop nowadays.
Classic books, you mean in which field?
Just the books that are written around 1800s or 1900s.
Yeah. In which field? In English, or is it novels, or is it some scientific books?
Novels, but they're written in English.
written in English, but what I'm telling is about any subject. Any subject?
No, sir, it's just general literature.
Okay. The English literature. So,
Yeah.
good. Great. 1800. Which, can you give some examples of the books you read?
The first one that I really read, that I really liked, was Jane Eyre.
Jane Eyre. Oh,
It was
just can you just give a gist of the story of Jane Eyre?
it's a story about a woman
Hmm.
who's born very poor and all that. So
Okay.
she's sent to a boarding school, and then
Hmm.
it's about how she single-handedly tries to navigate her life. So in the end, she becomes independent and self-sufficient and all that. But
Hmm.
what I really liked about the book was the language. The language is much more
Hmm.
complicated, and it's more like what would we consider to be more like a perfect English of sort. So
Oh,
lot of um, there's a lot of description about things that about a lot of descriptive language that we don't see in the literature today. So
okay.
that's one of the reasons why people like classics. So that's why I really read a lot of classics.
Very good. Even I used to read such books earlier, but not classics.
So,
Semi classics, you can say. Uh, I mean, I can't read Charles Dickens. It's too heavy for me. But yeah, some of this, the children's book I read in my younger days. Huckleberry Finn, this Tom Sawyer, and other stuff. I
so
think it's basically the reference to the author.
hmm.
Great. Then I heard somebody was burnt at stake. Who's that? Um, that is in France. Somebody. Is it not the same one or different?
Which one I couldn't get you.
Huh? Okay. I'll get back to you. I think I got confused. Is it a French? Is the novel in France happening in France or something? No.
So is it Dawn of Arc?
No. Donna Park. I'm not sure. Something else. One lady who was fighting for social justice.
Sir,
She
her
was
name is Joan of Arc.
Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc. Right.
Jonah.
Yeah. You're right. Absolutely right. So I got confused between this Joan of Arc and Jane Eyre. So I was, hey, where's the burning? Where's the burning? I was looking at it. Okay. Thank you, Rajeshri. So we'll end the class today. Hmm? And you can stop recording,
Sir, I
Sanjay.
just had a general doubt, sir,
Yeah.
regarding this mission profile.
Ah,
So
ah.
for our aircraft, like we have two roles. One is this reconnaissance, that is anti-submarine warfare, and another is rescue. So should we have both these roles in the same mission profile, or should we have two different mission profiles for these two?
Have one mission profile.
Okay.
Okay. And you can intuitively you find out which one is the worst case scenario. Okay. And
Okay.
for other it should be able to adapt itself to the other scenario. You don't have to draw a mission profile, but it should have the facility to adapt itself to the other scenario in case it is
Hmm.
not doing the reconnaissance.
Because sir, if we
Mm.
take rescue, then we have to add some 10 passengers, so the weight will increase. That is the reason.
So if you design for that, it will be the worst case scenario.
Okay.
You can do that also. So I'm leaving it to you. I'm not
Okay.
dictating to you.
But
That
it
is
should
why.
be compatible with both the scenarios. Like it should not fail in any
Uh,
case.
okay, what I'm telling you, suppose you design it for one,
Hmm.
with some modification, you should be able to do the other, at least in a namke vaste way.
Yes.
It may not be
Yes.
optimum for the other one.
Okay.
Understand? But
Mm-hmm.
it has to do so without very great loss in performance and other things. A
Okay.
slight deviation here and there is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's obviously designed it for something you are doing it something else with it means it won't be the optimum design exactly for that. Now you determine which one is critical. Okay, and for what you're designing. If you're designing for the rescue, then will it function very efficiently as for the other purpose also? You think about that.
Okay, sir. Okay, sure.
Yeah, these are a lot of soft thinking skills which you
Yes.
have developed with your team.
Yes.
And whatever you do, I will try to ask the opposite question. You should be able to answer it satisfactorily.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
welcome. Anyway, then I won't ask. Actually, the whole class will ask.
Yes.
Because they get marks for asking questions to you. Extra marks, significant amount of marks for questioning. Okay, so shall we end the class today?
Yes, sir.
You can Satya, you can actually stop recording.